Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my most anticipated reads for this summer. Now, from my research, I found that a lot of the books that I'm excited about are actually coming out this fall. But there are a few reads that are coming out this summer that I wanted to talk about, and I wanted to see if you guys had any reads that you're excited about and that you wanted to let me know about. And if you do have anything that you are really excited about that's coming out in the next few months over the summer, please comment down below and let me know, especially if they're not already part of this list. The first book I'm going to talk about is Star Daughter by Shweta Thakrar. That's coming out in August, and that has been one of my most anticipated reads of the entire year, let alone this summer. This is a YA fantasy novel. It's about a daughter of a star and a human, and so she's part star and part human, but apparently during one of her star flare-ups, she sends her father to the hospital and she needs the help of someone who is a full star, like her mother, to help her. So her mother is the star and her father is the human. And to do so, she has to win this competition, and it kind of takes you on this celestial adventure through Hindu mythology. I just think that's so cool. I have never heard of a book like that. I've never heard of someone who's half star and half human. And I think this type of magic in this type of book is going to be unlike any other book that I've read before. Also, the cover so far is absolutely stunning. So the next book I wanted to talk about is Mexican Gothic. This book is going to be released on the 30th of June of this year, and it is by Silvia Moreno Garcia, the same author that did The Gods of Jade and Shadow. This book seems to be more mystical realism, and it is about a seemingly magical mansion in the countryside of Mexico in the 1950s. And Noemi, who is our main character, has a cousin who's just been newly married, and she sends this crazy letter to Noemi letting her know that bad things are happening to her in this mansion. And so Noemi goes to this mansion to investigate, and there she finds her cousin-in-law's father, who is not very helpful, but there's a young boy that's willing to help her, and she ends up finding out a lot about her family's past, and it sounds kind of like this gothic, dark, magical type of mystery novel. So I'm hoping that it ends up being that way, and that ends up being a cool kind of historical but also folklorish story of Mexico. So I'm really excited about this one. I think it's going to be kind of different to what I'm used to reading, especially right now. I've been interested in different cultures and fantasy novels written in different cultures and using that mythology or that folklore, so I think this is going to be a good one. So the next book is The Court of Miracles by Kester Grant. I think this is the first of a series that will be released, and I think this is fantasy and not just fiction, though I'm not sure what magical elements it will have. Now, this is kind of like a alternate 1820s Paris type of story where we have the Court of Miracles, which is like this underground crime guild's court, and we have Nina, our main character, who is trying to protect her cousin Eddie because she has just recently attracted the eye of Tiger, who is the lord of these guilds that are basically criminal guilds in Paris. And so I guess the story kind of takes us through historical Paris and historical France, from the monarchy of Louis to the underbelly of Paris and the crime scene there and all those guilds. And I guess it kind of puts Nina in a treacherous situation. So I'm hoping that there's going to be magical elements. I'm still intrigued by the story because it says it's going to be Six of Crows-esque, and I've heard great things about Six of Crows. So I imagine that the storyline would be similar and just as intriguing. Although I am hoping for a magical element. I do tend to enjoy fiction stories more when there is some sort of magical element. So without that, I don't know how much I'm gonna like this, but I am hopeful. So the next book is The Damned by Renee Audier, and that's coming out in the beginning of July. Now, I haven't yet read The Beautiful, and I might just save The Beautiful until The Damned is released. I'm supposed to get the Fairy Loot edition, so I'm hoping that comes in quickly so I can just binge read the two, because any kind of series about vampires in beautiful New Orleans is a series that is right up my alley. hopefully I like The Beautiful enough that I'll be so excited to read The Damned. I don't know much about the stories besides it's vampires and it's set in New Orleans, and I've also been told not to expect too much vampirism in The Beautiful because apparently folks were a little disappointed that there wasn't enough vampire stuff in The Beautiful, but regardless, I've heard that it's a good book. So the next one is a murder thriller, so a little different than fantasy, and I think that it's still YA. It is called The Shadows by Alex North, and that's also coming out in the beginning of July. So this is about a murder that happens in a small town, and apparently it's just a gruesome, crazy murder that makes the killer really famous. And years later, Paul, the main character, has to go back to the town or has to take care of his mother who's getting more and more ill. But apparently there's a copycat in the town killing people in a similar manner to the previous killer. However, in the synopsis we learned that the previous murderer was never caught after having done the previous murder some 20 years ago, and so thus starts our tale. And I'm really excited and intrigued. Again, I love any type of mystery thriller novel where it gives me Criminal Minds vibes. That's one of my favorite shows, and I feel like anything that has that kind of vibe is definitely going to be up my alley. Now, his previous book, I think it's called The Whispers or The Whisper Man, didn't get that great of review, so I'm a little hesitant about The Shadows, but either way, it just gives me that Criminal Minds vibe, and it just makes me so intrigued in the story. And so that's one that I'm really intrigued to read this summer. So this next book is one that I've really never heard of before, and as soon as I read the synopsis, it really intrigued me, and that's called The Forest of Souls by Lori M. Lee, and I think that this is the first of a series as well. I'm not sure if it's a duology, a trilogy, or a longer series, but it's definitely the first, and it's coming out June 23rd of this year. Now, this story is about our main character, Serstra, I think is how you pronounce her name, who is originally going to be one of the Queen's spies, but her best friend ends up dying, and she ends up being able to revive her best friend, which apparently is unheard of magic in that world, and so she becomes the first soul guide in recent history, from what I understand. And this sparks the attention of the Spider King, who apparently has influence over something called the Dead Wood, which is basically a forest of souls, hence the title. And so these trees that are possessed by souls, I guess, are really wild and untamed, and so she has to help restrain them and rein them in so that a war doesn't break out between the kingdoms. And I guess that leads us to a whole new adventure where she has to master her newfound power and save the kingdom. Now, I'm excited because I love crazy types of magic. I love soul types of magic. I think this is going to be so interesting and really worth the wait. I love spiritual type of magic like this, so that's super up my alley. If you guys have heard of this book or have read anything by Lori M. Lee, let me know. I'm not familiar with the author and I'm not familiar with this book series, so it'll be my first by this author if I do end up picking it up, which I hope to do this summer. So that's it for this summer's reads, but I did want to give an honorable mention to one book that I think came out a week ago or so, and that is called Catherine House by Elizabeth Thomas. Now, I know if you guys have a book of the month subscription, I believe this book was one of the picks that you could have had for either April or May. This book really intrigued me, and I just wanted to mention it because I would add this to my summer reading list, and I think I will be, even though it's already been released. So this seems like a fantasy thriller, which sounds really interesting to me. It is about basically this college type of school deep in the woods in Pennsylvania that's super removed from society and like regular life, and so it produces some of the best in the world, Nobel Prize winners, amazing minds, amazing business people, and those really gifted people end up getting a tuition-free, basically a free ride to the school. But in order to get that, you have to give the school back something, and basically what you give is 3 years of your life that you live completely removed from society. And our main character ends up discovering that there are a certain select amount of students that get to learn this secret curriculum, and that there is this kind of crazy dark agenda hidden behind all of this at Catherine House. So this to me is really interesting. I can't believe that I just heard about it. I think it's such a cool premise of a book. It doesn't seem to have really great reviews on Goodreads, so I don't know if the synopsis just makes it sound really amazing, but to me it sounds really interesting. If you've read the book, please let me know down below. I'm really intrigued by this, and to me it sounds like a 5-star read, but Goodreads does not agree with my perception of what it will be like. So I still want to pick it up. I still want to see what it's about, and I think that'll be like a fun honorable mention because I think fantasy thrillers are really fun to read, especially during the summer and especially during the current situation situation. I think it'll be the perfect thing to get my mind going, and I just kind of love that kind of stuff. So I'm really excited about that. And so yeah, that wraps up this video. These are my picks for most anticipated summer reads. I'll be doing a most anticipated fall reads in a few months, or in a couple months or so, and I'll be listing those books. There are a lot on that list because apparently fall is the big time to come out with amazing fantasy books, so I'm excited for that. I need to get through my gigantic DBR this summer so I can get to all those amazing books in a few months. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please go check out the rest of my content, and please subscribe. That really helps support my channel. Thank you!